The vlogging paradox, fame, fortune and mental health, sharing lives online. But are we losing ourselves to that completely? But vlogging also said to be the ultimate form of self-expression. Where does the Lakshman Rekha draw really? We'll talk about that on the program.
And after that, as India grapples with a bout of post-Diwali pollution, we're checking in on some of the numbers. Specifically, we'll be taking a look at the Delhi-NCR region as the AQI has plummeted. We get you that daily check.
The timeless wisdom of Ramayana, the author Priya Arora, bridging ancient spirituality with modern insights, discovering Dharma, a journey of self-discovery as well. We sit down for a chat with her.
And as we said a little earlier, we're at the start of the weekend and we have for you a weekend watch party alert. What can you take a look at? So the new releases to binge on, all of that on TGIF. We'll talk a little bit about what specifically you can put on, what you can do with family, friends or alone. All those options right here on the show. In today's day and age, when most of us spend hours and hours on our phone, we thought it would be interesting to take a look at the fascinating world of vlogging. A world where individuals share every aspect of their lives online. These are videos that are sometimes a few minutes long, they can sometimes go hours long, and they captivate millions and millions. You'll have one person documenting aspects of their life, and it's shaping social media trends. Millions of followers, as we said, contribute to the views, and vlogging has over the last few years become a form of influence in its own right in our country. We've also seen the power of vlogging shape social media itself. Vlogging has changed the way that we consume content as consumers, and it offers an intimate glimpse, and that's the key word here, intimate, into the lives of others. Their daily routines, the travels that they go on with their families, and more importantly, even their mundane day-to-day activities. So a conversation with a spouse, a private moment, a moment where you're brushing, all of these activities are captured on camera and it's eventually uploaded for the world to see.
But is this culture of sharing every aspect of your life online really harmless, or does it come with its complicated set of consequences? Intimate was the word used. How intimate is too much being intimate? How exactly is the line drawn between concerns that are now being raised because of vlogging, of exploitation, mental health, and the impact of children that might have, both on people watching it and those creating it as well? Also remember, vlogging or video blogging, just to sort of put a perspective here, is not exactly new, but current trends of recording every day, all your mornings, evenings, nights, seem to be raising questions we hope to get answers to in this segment.
Okay, so who do we have to bring us a bit of a light on this issue? We thought first it's important to hear from the vloggers themselves. And to do this, we have a huge force in the vlogging scene joining us on the show today. Mumbiker Nikhil is with us. Let me just tell our audiences, you're also known as Nikhil Sharma, though everyone knows you and loves you as Mumbiker Nikhil. And
yes,
let me just share with our audiences, Nikhil, that you have 4 million people subscribed just to your YouTube channel. So they are watching every story you put up. Nikhil, tell us, and we'll do this before we get into any questions. Set the scene for us. So 10 years ago is when you started uploading videos on YouTube, and if one takes a look at those original videos, it's a lot of biking reviews, very different from the content you're posting today. It's a lot of biking content where one can't even see your face. It's just views of the road, but it's long stretches of video. And you can see jhalaks of the vlogging that you have today, in the sense that it's the audience participating while you're on the bike ride, kind of watching that bike ride happen. How did the evolution of Mumbiker Nikhil to what it is today take place? The aspects you've decided to share of your life online today, how did each of those decisions happen? Just walk us through that.
Okay, so I started making my videos like 20 years back almost, when I was starting my college, and there was this thing about me recording myself throughout always. My father gifted me this Nokia N72 phone, if you guys remember. So the first thing I did, I didn't click a picture. I started making videos of it, mimicking Shah Rukh Khan and Johnny Lever conversation. And then fast forward to 2015 when I came back to India. And before that, I was in an airline, and I remember whenever I used to travel to any destination, I used to record a video of mine. Let it be entering into a supermarket for the first time. It's just for my mother and for my family. See, mom, I'm here in this supermarket. Look how big it is in Houston, or I'm in France walking down the Eiffel Tower. It's not really that great, blah, blah, blah. And we never used to use the phone like vertically. We always used to use it horizontally. And then when I came on YouTube, it was, I mean, back then YouTube was just cats and babies videos. You just put cute videos of random things, or probably like ladies are making food, or men are just playing with their kids or dogs. And then fast forward to, it became more and more of a you can say a work thing. So when I started uploading, now back then, people were not really familiar with vlogging. Back then you can't sell the concept of vlogging. Back then the videos were like comedy sketches, AIB, Bhuvan was rising, and a lot of gaming was rising. So I was like, okay, I can't do comedy, I can't do all of this. So I travel. That's my genre, and I've been to a lot of countries. So let me start traveling in India, and I have a bike. So let me start recording, and I put a GoPro on my helmet, and then that did pretty well. But what I noticed is that, of course, we Indians, we people, we love personal thing, right from the awkward days or hi-fi days, and then Facebook. What we used to like hide our family members. Oh, I'm going on a date with this so and so person to this restaurant. I don't want my family members to know. And then I was like, people used to ask me, show more about your life. So like, okay, I did this Mumbai to Bangalore journey. So show more about your life. Are you a vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Why don't you show your mother? Because my mother was not comfortable coming in front of the camera. कि ये बेटा क्या कर रहा है, taking a motorcycle and going, what everyone will call me. What is your son is doing, riding thousand kilometers. But then I noticed that in the comment section, it was more about people asking for my personal life rather than they want to know about more of a motorcycle. Yeah, I did got a lot of motorcycle audience as well. And then in one random Q&A, I said, guys, do you want to know more about my life? It's not really fun. I'm a normal single guy. I live in a very small apartment with my mother. Are you really interested? They say, yeah. So slowly, I shared a glimpse. And then I understood ki, this people want to know more about your life. So the whole tadka is, you give them, content is like dal, they don't want to eat a normal dal. So when you give away your personal life, like, okay guys, I'm a vegetarian, this is what I do, this is what my house is, and this is where I travel, and my name is this, I'm dating this girl, blah blah blah. So they connect with you more. I'm not saying they're there for that. They connect with you more. Oh, this guy is just like us. He lives with his mother is scolding him in front of the camera. अरे अपनी mom भी वैसी ही है. अरे he's also eating dal chawal, his favorite. Because back then people used to share more of an exotic thing. Sharing, oh, I eat dal chawal, I'm a vegetarian, I live with my parents, was like a bit of a no, ये सब share नहीं करना है. I want to share that, oh, I have checked it in Taj on Facebook, rather than I'm at home with my mother and eating dal chawal. So I realized that, and that's how it started. And then fast forwarded to today, I am a father of 2 children, and that's what I share.
Nikhil, let me pause you over there for a minute. Yeah, let me pause you there for a minute before you fast forward to what's going on right now. I'm very glad you put on different genres of how things are happening on YouTube as well, right? There's vlogging, there are comedy sketches, there are different forms. But we're talking specifically about vlogging today, which is so fascinating, and the form that you do as well, which perhaps Casey Neistat sort of brought in, right? He recorded some 500 days of his life, and that's what got everybody to go on and say that, okay, every day I'm going to put out what I'm doing. But that sort of a discipline must come at a cost. And do you feel that? Do you feel sometimes that too much of your life is going online?
Yes, I do feel sometimes. So before getting married, it was easy. It was just discipline. It was just your physical strength and your willpower. Because as good thing you notice, Casey Neistat once mentioned the reason he's putting up stories. The vlogging is like a storytelling is because he wants to do something when he gets up. Because vlogging is not you get up, you dress well and go to the office. It's creating something new. Even how you brush your teeth or how you're making coffee yourself for yourself, it's like showing in a different angle, and it makes you very, very, very creative. But then what the shift I noticed is when I introduced my girlfriend, my wife now, back then. And because I remember once my wife telling me, girlfriend then, uh, Nikhil, you're not giving me time. You're not giving me enough time. Why you always, just working hard? You get up, you just want to be, let's make a great day. No, sometimes the day can be lazy, boring, laid back. Why you have to be that? And I remember Casey also making a video that he almost, uh, ended his relationship with his wife because of vlogging. Because it makes you crazy. It takes so much
Yes.
from you. It makes you literally, you get addicted to it. You get addicted. You actually make your virtual audience, oh, you have to prove it. So how, when you are young, you want to prove something to your parents, hold on to that thought. That thought gets into you every day, start of the day, that you have to prove something to your audience that this is what you're doing and this is how great your skills are. But then when my wife told me that, and then when I have kids, then there was another shift. Because back then I was like this boy, always energized, ready to rock the day. But then after having kids, no one told me how difficult it is to be a father. There's spit ups all over my shirt, my hair is not groomed, my face is tired. Same goes to my wife. And then I was scared, and I feel less demotivated. I remember doing this one interview with Sadhguru, and I told him, "Does your creativity goes down after marriage?" Because it was really affecting me that why my creativeness is down. You see the video of me playing with my daughter on my chest. There was this time where I had all sorts of cameras and bike thing on me, and then I was like, "Am I comfortable?" Because it really takes so much away from you. It's so tired all the time. There is 20 kilos backpack, and then your child, and you can't. I remember there was some time I was very tired, and then audience said, "Why are you tired?" So I was like, how to tell them why am I tired with 3 hours of sleep and all this. So you don't really want to show yourself vulnerable. I'm someone that I don't like to show myself vulnerable in front of the camera, because my audience have seen me always strong, energized. So yeah, in between I was really confused. Yeah, so it really takes so much from you if you are like addicted to it, which I was.
Can we ask you, Mumbiker Nikhil, there's a conversation right now taking place in the West when it comes to children. And I ask you this because you touched on both of your kids. So there's this
Yes.
conversation in the West around how children should feature if their parents are vloggers. And this big question that's being discussed about whether kids should, many years later, receive compensation of some kind. So, for example, if you've made profits from your video, should your kid at some point receive a share of that? How should they be considered as an entity in all of this? And I just want to know how you think through that. Because one thing is having, as you said, your mum. I saw her beautifully on your wedding day. You made your audiences finally. The mum who you talked so much about, she came on camera. So there's stuff like that. But then there's also kids who are, younger than a certain age. Your kids are babies. How do you think through all of that?
Okay, so I really get worried sometimes, because see, now we are on a rise of social media. Now everybody is joining in social media, okay? But then not everybody wants to be famous, and fame comes with a price, especially if you're introducing a child, because that child is going to be an adult or probably a teenager at one point of time. And they, especially a girl, they might not like how my parents have showed me. If I'll take you back to a point where, remember when you used to get your friends to your house and your parents used to show your bachpan ka photo where you're not wearing anything, or your snot is coming out of from your nose, or your hair is not done, and there's a big bindi on your head. Even if you're a boy, you don't like that, right? And now children are they're aware of things, because the friends in the schools are telling them, you should not do this. You should tell your parents that keep this business away from you. And talking about how they'll get profited is whatever is mine is theirs. Okay, like I have started investments on both of my daughter's name, that when they'll be 18, they'll get big chunk of money, and whatever is mine is mine. And I'm glad that I don't have a son who's gonna ask me for a motorcycle, but God knows it can be my daughter's asking me for a motorcycle.
Yamaha,
Then
expensive Yamaha.
yeah, I don't know. It's not about money. It's about that I know it's
All
scary, right? So,
Yeah,
and then what
yeah.
scares me is that in the
Nikhil,
future,
lots to
children,
unpack.
yes, lots to unpack.
No,
So,
finish your thought. You said what scares you is? What scares you
what
is?
scares me is that I was having this conversation with Ranveer, Beer Biceps, and we discussed that in year 2038, privilege would be not being on social media, not being on internet. That's going to be privilege. That's called Web 3.0. So I was having a discussion with my wife. What if our daughter grows up and they say, you know, Dad, why did you show us? I don't want to be on social media. My life is getting affected.
Yeah,
I'm finding difficulty in having friends or making boyfriends. And what if they blame? Children likes to blame on parents. We all have done it. कुछ नहीं मिल रहा तो just blame on parents.
That's a good thought, Nikhil. I'm butting in because we have one more guest and I want to get in her perspective as well.
Please.
Lots to unpack from what you've said. Nisman is with us. She's also a content creator, does a lot of sketches online, has millions of followers on YouTube as well, is also doing vlogging of late from what I'm seeing. Nisman, we just heard from Nikhil who said that fame will come at a cost and we don't know what the future will have. So one is really trying to understand what is the future of vlogging, number one, and what is the cost of vlogging.
Right. Hi, firstly, thank you for having me, guys.
Lovely seeing you, Nisman. Tell us though, what do you feel is the cost of sorts?
See, for me, if you're vlogging, you can't live in the moment. I tried. Basically, I have just started vlogging and I'm like, मैं यहाँ जीऊँ या कैमरा पे जीऊँ मैं क्या करूँ? It's like I can't be there, but मुझे record करना है because मुझे बाद में upload करना है. So I'm still trying to figure out कि मैं best of both worlds कैसे कर पाऊँ यार exactly. Because ऐसा है कि I'm putting too much of my personal life into it, but I also have to use that चाय की छन्नी कि कितना डालूं and कितना नहीं डालूं. So there's this constant thoughts in my mind कि what am I supposed to do and what is ethical? क्या क्या मैं दिखाऊं and क्या नहीं दिखाऊं? And what if I show something I'm not supposed to? So I'm in that constant dilemma right now while vlogging. But let's see where it goes, hopefully.
आपने अभी बोला चाय की छन्नी. Earlier we were talking to Mumbiker Nikhil. He was making a dal comparison, lots of food comparisons early in the morning. Nisman, tell us one thing. This is a very active choice for you. So unlike Mumbiker Nikhil, who was part of, one could say, one of that first wave of vloggers that came into our country, really drove that and drove the form. You're someone who is choosing to do this when vlogging is very much an established thing, right? And the content you're creating, as we've just discussed with our audiences, is, and they can see some of it right now, is largely comedic. You're now making that shift into vlogging. As you said, every day it's a choice to show what to do and what not to do. So what's driving you to do it in the first place?
See, I was always a short format content creator. I used to play characters and मुझे पता रहता था मुझे क्या दिखाना है because it's not me, it's someone else. I'm portraying someone else in that 30 seconds or 1 minute video. But then on YouTube, I started receiving comments like they wanted to know what my life is, what my personal life is, what I actually do, what I eat. मेरा दिन कैसा जाता है. They actually wanted to like tap into my personal life. So they were like, please start vlogging, please start vlogging. And I was like, ठीक है, I'll give it a try. So I went to this creator summit and I was like, ठीक है, चलो casually, I'll just record clips, I'll just merge them and put it as a vlog. But then I realized what big of a hectic schedule that vlogging brings into your life because not just recording, editing, choosing what clips I have, कितना लंबा होना चाहिए, what if they get bored, what should be the exact duration, figuring out all of that was like a big task. But then I was like, yeah, let's give it a try because अभी vlogging ऐसा है कि now everybody is doing it. And जो नहीं कर रहे हैं उनको FOMO हो रहा है. During Nikhil's time, I think he was like one of the first जो vlogging जिसने लाया था ये concept पूरा कि okay, there's something like riding and vlogging at the same time and everyone was like, wow, ऐसा कुछ भी होता है. But now everybody is doing it and मैंने basically out of FOMO start किया है vlogging करना.
That's actually a very honest opinion. So thanks for sharing that. The thing I want to understand from you is that there are a lot of these short form vlogs also that are there, and the long form, like the Casey kind of long form vlogging that happens as well. Is there an active conversation, it seems like, amongst the group to say that you'll have to draw the line once and there will get a point where it'll be too much of it? Is that an active conversation? How are you guys tackling it?
Yeah, so I have like recently spoken to a lot of creators. Some of them had started vlogging like quite early, but in a comparison of views, they were not like quite happy right now because vlog sab kar rahe, but views and engagement sabko nahi aa raha hai. Because they don't understand that not everybody wants to see. मतलब तुमको जो दिखाना है वो सब में उसको interest नहीं है. Maybe you want to show that, you are keen to show that, but सबको नहीं देखना है. मतलब they only want that masala and fun elements of vlogging that they can actually like watch while having food or just while chilling. So there are these vloggers जो रोज vlog करते हैं and I don't know वो लोग अभी तक थके कैसे नहीं है. I wait for happy moments of my life where I'm traveling कि तब मैं vlog करूंगी. ठीक है चलो कुछ मिलेगा. But I know these vloggers जो रोज vlog कर रहे हैं. मैं तो बल्कि इंस्पिरेशन ले रही हूँ उनसे कि भाई कैसे कर रहे हो तुम लोग and how are you like filtering out कि क्या दिखाना है क्या नहीं. और तुम्हारी रोज लाइफ इतनी इंटरेस्टिंग कैसे हो रही है कि तुम vlog में डाल पा रहे हो.
These are all very relevant questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it needs a lot of effort and मतलब जो उनमें है that सहानुभूति to do vlogging every day. I'm very inspired by that. सोच के कि चलो मैं भी कभी ये कर पाऊंगी शायद. इतनी लाइफ इंटरेस्टिंग होगी मेरी कि मैं रोज vlog बना पाऊं.
Chalu Nisman, good luck then for the journey ahead. You're already an established content creator, but this jump of sorts that you're making into this new form, thank you for telling us so honestly about your thoughts. Okay, let's take our audiences now to one more person. This is an expert. Dr. Chinu Agarwal is with us. She's the director of Feeling Minds. She's also a PhD, an international affiliate of the American Psychological Association. Dr. Agarwal, thank you for joining us here on the show. Doctor, we want to explore the psychological here. And before we take you into the aspect of what's going on with bloggers, we want to ask you a little bit about audiences. Is it a sense of companionship that audiences get when they're watching videos like this? What do you think is going on? Because these are time commitments. Sometimes bloggers are vlogging 1 hour long, 2 hour long videos. For audiences to stay through that, do you think somewhere it's us curing our digital loneliness?
Yeah, exactly. And when you are seeing them playing out their life, which you don't have to do, you don't have to risk putting out your life, they are doing it for you. It's so easy, no? To just watch people doing it and start commenting and relating to it. And of course, there is this hook of emotional connection that's there in this vlogs, which we are calling as parasocial relationships in psychology, where there is this one-way relationship that is happening from the blogger. You know, in our times also, when we were younger, we used to see these celebrities and heroes, and we used to start falling in love with them. And we have stories of how Rajesh Khanna's white car used to get, pink with lipsticks, and how girls used to go crazy with Ravi Shastri's match and all those things. So we were always, as Indians, very fond of celebrities and connecting with them and entering into their lives and knowing what's going on. So I think this has given us this opportunity, which we were always looking for, to look into people's lives. Is it different than us? Is it similar to us? What is it they are doing? What is it that we are doing? Comparing, coming up to it, aspiring, all this is going on in their own psychology. And that's how it is becoming so addictive for them. They can binge watch a blogger that they are connected to even for 6 hours in a day.
Yeah. Dr. Agarwal, if you notice, both the content creators and vloggers on our, who came just before you, said that they didn't indulge in this. Comments drove them to it. People ask for more of you online. And that's what creators end up giving. So are you in a way saying that the line has to be drawn at the end of the creators to say, okay, this might impact my personal life at the cost of views, this will impact my mental health at the cost of the subscribers that I'm getting?
Yeah, but then can you see that they are already in a loop for getting more views? They are already in the loop for getting more attention, more adulation, more admiration, more engagement. And so they cannot even if they want to, they cannot refuse it. They are wanting to make the content that their audiences can relate to, can engage with, can come up to their vlogs and be hooked to them. So they are actually going around seeking their audience's opinions. And this thing that I would call it as the art of enough is not something that comes easy for any of us. We do not know how to draw lines. We would go overboard. We are habitual of this ati in everything that we do. This is called as indulgence, whether we are having some sugary drinks or it is our gadget or whether it is fashion or shopping or anything. It is this little child's mind which is always there even after we grow up, that wants more and more and more of everything. And so these vloggers are also caught in that. They are not able to use the art of enough. They're not able to say that, no, this is enough. Now I'm not going to go ahead and do what my audience is. They will not like to lose their audiences at any cost.
Dr. Chinu, can you tell us, everything we're talking about, it's not just relevant to vloggers, it's relevant to anyone who uses social media, right?
Yes.
Attention economies are being structured around this entirely.
Yeah.
Can you tell our audiences, it's a bit of a tricky one, but we tend to have these conversations and they tend to sound a little doomsday, because we're saying, depression ho jata hai, there are serious mental health consequences to being addicted to social media, to posting aspects of yourself online constantly. But when you speak to people who are doing so, when you've had clients who either are vloggers themselves or are documenting their lives online in this manner, are there any upsides?
Yeah, there are. The point is, imagine a river or a swimming pool, which is so enticing, which relaxes you for a while, which gives you all that you need. But do you want to remain in that, or do you want to go, get a dip and come out of it? That's the trick over here. There are so many upsides. You are fulfilling your basic intrinsic need of social connection through this activity, which we are all born with. There is a theorist who says that we are born with something called a stimulus hunger. The babies, they want actual physical strokes. And so he has used the term stroke hunger. We are getting up every morning to earn strokes. Right now, I'm earning strokes being on TV. Both of you are earning strokes. These bloggers are earning strokes. And we want to earn so many strokes in abundance that one day Sonal would like a crowd to gather around her whenever she goes in a mall. I would like people to recognize me on the airports and start asking for autographs. We all want so many strokes in abundance, and this hunger, it is insatiated. You cannot satiate it. Imagine Amitabh Bachchan once coming on his balcony and there are no people to wave to. What will happen to that person? We all want that kind of, stimulus constantly. And that is the downside of this vlogging as well. Wherein there will be a day when so many people are not going to turn up on your post, when there are not going to be so many likes, when there is going to be a comment section which criticizes you, which trolls you, which says that, nahi pasand aaya, what is it that you have put up? And then the imbalance that creates is the anxiety that my engagement should come, that my audiences should like whatever I'm putting up, and then the actual reality facing it is going to be really harsh. You can see that these
Yeah.
vloggers are not emotionally
Doctor,
so mature to be able to deal with all these things. They are not getting, sessions from
that's
psychologists
true.
that how should you deal with this, and they are not having their own shrinks where they are going to handle all this pressure every
Actually, Dr.
day, every
Agarwal,
moment.
the first wave of content creators have been very vocal about mental health, and they are the ones who've actually shown a lot of restraint. But many would argue that they've also reached a stature where they can choose to make those calls. But it's a constant learning curve. We're all adapting to social media and figuring out what the way forward is. But we have the last 2 minutes, so I wanted a parting comment from you on young content creators watching right now who worry, perhaps, but don't know how to stop and where to stop. To them, is there a balancing formula that you can share with them?
Yeah, I would like to draw their attention to the intent, to the objectives. Take a pause, be mindful. What is it that I am going to gain out of it? And what is the cost that I am paying? So, the cost benefit analysis, if you can pause, do it, and you can see, is this what is the value that I want to put into people's lives? Is it something that is going to be remembered? Because the digital footprint that you are going to leave behind is going to be permanent. Is it just because I want to get some strokes? Is it something that is so selfish like that? Or is it something that I really want to give people, inspire them, encourage them to do better in their lives, to lead richer lives, fulfiller lives, more meaningful lives? Then over the years, you are going to be satisfied, content with what you did as a content creator, rather than ending up the curve in depression or anxiety or stress or burnout or substance abuse or something like that. So this mindfulness and intent, I think. And one more thing is genuine connection. You started the conversation with the word intimacy. And the same scientist, Dr. Eric Berne, whom I was quoting for stroke hunger, he used this word intimacy. Intimacy is the genuine, authentic connection that you want to build with people in your lives, whether it is personal or public connections. What is it that you are honest about? What does it mean? Because as Nikhil was saying, there is this something called as role fatigue. You are staging your life all the time. And one more point that is very, very concerning is sharenting, where parenting and sharing is
becomes one and the same. It overlaps.
One and the same.
Right?
And
Dr. Agarwal, we've unfortunately run out of time, but you've left such wise words, especially that last one, that it's so important to be honest with oneself and conduct a cost-benefit analysis if one can with themselves. Okay, we're going to take you from this very, very stimulating discussion into a short break. On the other side, we're going from our gadgets to God. We're taking you to the timeless wisdom of Ramayana. We have with us author Priya Arora. She is bridging ancient spirituality with modern insights with her new book, and she's going to walk us through what she discovered in the process of writing this.
Welcome back. It's time to take a look at the pollution meter in our cities. And the question really on everybody's mind is, the farm fires seem to have been considerably low, but why exactly are the levels still so high then? Let's start with the national capital region, and the latest update paints a grim picture. Delhi-NCR's air quality status remains a major concern, with Bundka recording a staggering AQI of 999. That's the highest the meter can actually go to. That means it is in the hazardous category. Anand Vihar also stands at about 438 over there, where 498 according to that latest number, and that is also hazardous.
Okay, we'll also pull up for you on the screens Narela. Narela, as we speak, is bringing in 332. And if we just check in on both of Delhi's neighbors, so Noida, which is where we're located right now, it's 239, and Gurugram on the other side is bringing in a 203. These are alarming numbers. They're underscoring the continuing need of collective action. Again, if we could tell you, keep your masks on. Do try to stay indoors with an air filter if you have an air filter. That's the best way to protect yourself at this time.
All right, with that, let's move on now to our person of interest. Now, today we are joined by Priya Arora. She's the author of Rama, the Man of Dharma, a captivating retelling of the Ramayana. Now, in Rama, Man of Dharma, Priya brings alive Valmiki's ancient Sanskrit epic in lucid English, clarifying modern misconceptions about Ram's action. She also portrays Rama as an sort of, a person who's sort of giving out lessons from the Upanishads and demonstrating the path to enlightenment through conscious, selfless action.
She is herself, of course, a spiritual enthusiast, and she's delved deeply in this book into India's rich heritage, promoting Vedanta's philosophy of universal peace and oneness. She's an Oxford grad herself. We'll talk a little bit about that. Priya's journey into the world of spirituality began with her Indian roots, and she's in the US right now, and it's from there that she's written this book. Her interest in Vedanta led her to actually go ahead and learn Sanskrit, and we're going to ask her about all of this, how she decided to do that. She's joining us right here on the show to share with us why and how she went on this journey. Let's just go over to her to understand more. Priya, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on the show. Priya, tell us, you live in the US. We were just telling our audiences this. What about the Vedanta philosophy in general first gripped you and made you go, this is the thing that I want to devote my life to?
I really planned to write this book. The book just happened, and it happened as a result of a spiritual journey. That spiritual journey started for me about 12 years ago when I went to the Ramakrishna mission here in Berkeley, and I attended a lecture on the Bhagavad Gita. And the reason why that lecture had such an impact on me is because I have a challenging situation in life with parenting a special needs child. And at that time, I was in a state of real anxiety, actually. And the lecture spoke to me because it's the Bhagavad Gita, we think of it as a religious book. It's not a religious book. It is a book on how to handle problems in life. It's about your mindset. It's about your outlook. And once you fix your outlook on life, you can handle any problem. And my journey began that way.
Yeah. That's fascinating, actually, and totally resonates with so many of us who find more answers and to daily life questions in these scriptures as well. But the original script was in Sanskrit. What was your process of sort of figuring out how to contextualize it in the modern day world?
What I did is I realized along my journey that I needed to learn Sanskrit, because without Sanskrit, honestly, you cannot really appreciate any of these texts. So I'm still learning it. It's a long journey. But the good thing was I was able to read the Sanskrit and the English. And when I did that, I got a far better understanding of what the text was trying to communicate. Because, a translation comes between you and the original text. It's not direct. So I would tell people, If you can, read the original text. Even over my book, I mean, read the original text. But what I try to do is for those who don't want to read the original text, that, it's quite voluminous, it's 24,000 verses. And, translations are kind of tough to read. They don't flow. So what I've tried to do is just bring the essence of the original text to a contemporary reader in a manner that they would enjoy reading. This is like you read any other book. You read a Harry Potter, you read Lord of the Rings, and you enjoy reading it.
Can you tell us, Priya, we have the book here, and we just wanted to ask you a little bit about how you resolve some of the central dilemmas in the book. So, a dilemma that I know a lot of younger women have when they're reading the story of Ramayana is the fact that he chose to separate from Sita at a very crucial time after, she'd been brought back from Lanka. And I just want to ask you, the logic that's given behind it is that it's the will of the people, and Lord Ram, as a ruler, had to also listen. He was a democratic ruler. He had to follow the will of the people. But that has never quite sat right with me. And I know a lot of younger women that we speak to. So how did you resolve that?
It's a good point that people raise this. The one thing I want to say is the beauty of our Sanatana Dharma is that you should ask questions. It's not like you shouldn't ask questions. Why did you say that? How dare you ask that? No, you must ask questions. You know why? Because when you have questions, the next step is doubt resolution. And once you have doubt resolution, then you have real conviction. And so questions are good. So coming to this question. We in today's world don't think of dharma in the real way of what dharma means. We think of morality and what you should do as black and white. This is right, that is wrong. And life's not like that. Life is full of gray. Very rarely, you see in our own lives, you don't always choose between right and wrong. Sometimes you have to choose between two things that are equally right. And you're that's what they call a catch-22 situation. You're like, do I do this or do I do that? Both are right. Now, dharma handles that. So I need to explain the concept of dharma a little bit. There's no English word for it because it's a non-translatable word. But basically, if I have to explain what dharma is, I would say it's the right action depending on the context. That is for the good of the many, not for your personal good, but for the general good.
Right. Now that is an elaborate concept and perhaps asks for an elaborate read of the book as well. But the other question, Priya, that one has is that these books were written back in the day when life was very different. People were very different. What are some of the practicing lessons that can perhaps be related to dharma even in today's 21st century AI-driven world?
It's a long journey. It doesn't happen overnight. And it requires continuous practice. But what it really is, in a nutshell, is you have to expand the vision of yourself. See, most of our anxieties are because we are thinking of ourselves, our identity is limited to this body and this mind. If your identity is limited to your body and mind, then anything that affects your body and mind will get you bent out of shape. Absolutely, it will. But if you expand your identity and think of yourself, and I'm going to speak a little philosophy here, in Vedanta, you don't think of yourself as just this body. You think of yourself as a cosmic being. You are that eternal spirit. You are the consciousness. You are that power which is in everything.
Priya, you said something before, we were on air like this when we were talking to you a little bit for research, and you said dharma requires intelligence. And I thought that was very beautiful, and I wanted you to explain what you mean when you say that to our viewers.
That's the great thing, about our Vedanta. is it doesn't require your obedience. It requires your intelligence. To be a dharmic person requires exercise of intelligence. In fact, if you have 2 seconds, there's a beautiful, beautiful Sanskrit Subhashita, and that is these are great sayings. And it says, and I'll say it in Sanskrit and I'll explain it to you. It says, Yasya nasti swayam pragya shastram tasya karoti kim lochanabhyam vihinasya darpana kim karishyati. So, karishyasi. So, what it's saying is that if you do not use your own intelligence, what use are the Shastras to a person who's just a follower? It's no use. It's as useless as a mirror is to a person without eyesight. If you're blind, a mirror is of no use to you. So these Shastras, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, they're all Shastras, huh? The Puranas, the Vedas, all these are our Shastras, because we have a library, not a book, right? So this whole library of knowledge that you have, that's absolutely useless if you're not using your intelligence.
All right then, so apply your mind as you get into all these Upanishads and the scriptures there. Thank you, Priya, for joining us with that insight, and good luck with the book. We're going to take a quick break. Back in a moment. Welcome back. We started the show with a lot to do with binge watching, but since it's Friday and Friday, as we say, there is a little bit that we can perhaps do. This is all about the weekend planner that we have for you.
Yeah, here's a rundown of the top picks for your watch parties with your family or alone. Sakshi Singh Toya brings you the rundown. Take a look. This is TGIF.
Hi everyone, we are back again with TGIF here on the Breakfast Club, and as usual, viewers are in for a treat this weekend as well with ample of options for that watch party. So here's the list. Number 1 is Khwabon Ka Jhamela. It's coming up on Jio Cinema. It's a light-hearted drama. Khwabon Ka Jhamela basically follows Zubin, a young man whose life turns chaotic when intimacy coach Ruby re-enters his life to help him reconnect with his former fiancée. Movie promises plenty of loves for the audience. Number 2 is Mr. Plankton, coming up on Netflix. This new Korean drama, Mr. Plankton, stars Woo Do-han and Lee Yoo-mi as two individuals who feel out of place in the world and then embark on an emotional journey together. A heartfelt story that explores friendship and belonging as well. Then we have Vettaiya coming up on Amazon Prime Video. It's an action-packed Tamil drama starring Rajnikant, Amitabh Bachchan and Rana Daggubati. Vettaiya tells the story of an honest police officer fighting crime and corruption in the city. Then we have The Cage coming up on Netflix as well. This action series follows a young man with dreams of becoming a professional boxer. His life changes after an unexpected fight lands him in the ring fighting for his dreams. Then we have Vijay 69 coming up on Netflix, a slice of life story starring Anupam Kher as a former swimming coach who defies age and expectations by joining a triathlon at the age of 69. It's an inspiring story with humor at heart. Then Ella coming in theatres. Ella is an edge of the seat thriller that revolves around a young 9-year-old girl who crosses paths with the cops, dangerous criminals and mystics in an attempt to save an animal. Then we have Citadel Honey Bunny coming up on Amazon Prime Video. Citadel, the action-packed spy series from the Russo brothers, has been a big hit globally, and Citadel Honey Bunny is its Indian edition starring Varun Dhawan and Samantha Ruth Prabhu in the main roles. The series revolves around stuntman Bunny recruiting struggling actress Honey for a side gig. They are hurled into a high-stakes world of action, espionage and betrayal. Then we have It Ends With Us coming up on Netflix. It's based on best-selling novel by Colleen Hoover. It Ends With Us. It explores themes of love, sacrifice and breaking the cycle of abuse as well. And that's all we have to pack up on this episode. Do stay tuned. We'll come back next week with yet another list of your entertainment options. Take care.
Next, we bring you a special segment on the financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's start with the markets and how they're pegged to open this morning. GIFT Nifty indicates a flat to positive opening for the Indian equities. Asian equities opened strong after US Fed cut rates as expected. Signs of inflation trending lower and job market easing saw US markets close higher on Thursday. Crude oil prices and gold likely to trend lower as well.
Okay, and after that, let's take you very quickly to our next focus. We're going to be looking at the rural sector in particular. Urban sentiment appears to be a tad shaky while rural markets are showing some signs of pickup. A good monsoon and healthy sowing are expected to benefit rural income in the coming months. But will rural-focused companies, especially catering to agriculture, will they see better days ahead? That's obviously the big question. You can log into Money Control Pro to find out more about the rural-focused companies and, of course, various other actionable insights on the markets. It's the premier destination that you're ever going to need for all investing views and financial insights. Brought to you, of course, by Money Control.
All right, with that, it's a wrap on today's edition. Have a good weekend. Have a meaningful weekend. We will see you again on Monday, 8 a.m.
Goodbye. See you. Hello and good morning. Thank you for watching CNN News 18. I'm Shin Elizabeth Matthew. Let's begin this bulletin with the top story this hour. Now, what we are receiving at this point, the breaking input is that another threat has in fact been issued to Salman Khan by Lawrence Bishnoi gang. Now, caller contacts Mumbai Police Control Room, case being registered in Worli. Now, cops are trying to in fact trace the caller to identify who exactly this person is behind this threat call that is coming in. Now, let me go across to my colleague Yasha Kotak on this. Yasha, over to you. Give us more detail. Has this person been identified who has in fact been giving threat calls to Salman Khan?
So this person has not yet been identified. In fact, this threat call that was received at the Mumbai Police's traffic unit at traffic control room, was where a person had called up giving a threat to Salman Khan. In fact, as a part of this threat, he mentioned that a song was written regarding Salman Khan and Lawrence, and threatened that the person who wrote this song, should apologize, which is where this threat has come in at the Mumbai Police traffic branch. But they have not been able to identify who this person was who said this threat. Cops are trying to identify who the who has sent this threat, and that's where further investigation is on. So far, an FIR has been registered at Worli Police Station. Now, in the last 2 days, that is yesterday and today, we've seen 2 Hollywood actors receive a threat. Yes, Shah Rukh Khan has received a threat from a number which was based out of Chhattisgarh, which is where this call had come in to the Bandra Police Station, and a team was sent to Raipur to register to find out where the call came in from. This FIR was registered at Bandra Police Station. However, now in this case of Salman Khan, we've seen that the FIR has been registered at Worli Police Station regarding the call that was received at the Mumbai Police traffic police control room. So here, of course, over the last couple of months, we've seen several such calls coming in, particularly in the last, a week or so. There have been more than 10 such calls that have come in. Some, cops have found out to be hoax. Some have been linked to Lawrence Bishnoi gang. So far, when it comes to this very call, cops are trying to understand who made this call and why this call was made. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Yasha, for getting us all those details. Now, let's move on to the international front. Now, in a sharp rebuke, the Ministry of External Affairs ramped up its criticism of Canada. Now, after the Trudeau government denied security for India's consular camps, the Indian consulate in Canada said it had to cancel its life certificate camp in Toronto due to inadequate security. Now, despite requesting assistance from the Canadian authorities, this comes after the attack on a temple in Brampton, wherein a Canadian cop was involved too. Now, Ministry of External Affairs also hit out at Canada's hypocrisy on free speech after the country banned an Australian diaspora outlet for airing a press conference